expose them to a certain method of learning, if they follow this method, there's no stopping.
Start a diary from today, digital and from today pick up 3 items in the newspapers and one item, one page, start writing notes.
The key to success is calmness. Now, key to success in what? The key to success in civil services or
forms the backbone of all new ideas, messages, and change in society. Without it, we would surely wither away into oblivion. We feel so privileged to be able to call to our college such esteemed personalities who graciously accepted our invitation to share their ideas with us. Rest assured, each one of us will walk out of this hall inspired by their noble words. Keeping this in mind, I would like to call our President Kishan Jaiswal to share a few words with us.
Good morning everyone. A warm welcome to each and every one of you at this momentous occasion, Samvaad' 2023. It is hosted by the History and Political Science Society, which is celebrating its 90th year of enriching minds and fostering the intellectual camaraderie. As the 90th president of this esteemed society, I stand here with the immense pride, acknowledging the legacy we carry. Our objective is laid down by our procedures. It is clear to foster the social and intellectual activity among the students of our college. So today, Samwaad' 2023, it is a testament to that commitment. This prestigious speaker session, with its diverse topic, it serves as the platform to engage with the thought leaders, encouraging the intellectual growth and exchange of valuable insights. As we embark on the intellectual journey together, let us honor the past 90 years and look forward to future, where the HPS Society continues to be guiding light for those who are eager to explore the realms of history and political science and the dynamic landscape of the Indian history and international politics. Thank you. Let the conversation begin.
Thank you for your inspiring words, Kishan. We are lucky to have you with us. Now, I would like to introduce our first guest for today's session. He has been mentoring, inspiring, and instructing IAS aspirants for more than 30 years now. His guidance has nurtured many extraordinary civil servants. He is the founder director of the renowned coaching academy, Sri Ram's IAS. With a big round of applause, please welcome to the stage Mr. Sriram Srirangam.
Thank you so much. See, we have very little time in which I thought I'll speak on a topic, set standards for you to understand the topic, and whatever else you follow, you follow the methodology I'm setting, so that basically the idea is, I've had the highest respect for this corner of the country. You know, the Delhi University area, where the youngsters come from the entire country, quite sort of good credentials, etc. And I want them to become leaders. I don't want them to become anything that is, less than public expectations of the students here. And I see a lot of people, be it from here, be it from IIT, be it from any other prestigious institute, I see them not making it in life or falling behind. Then, it hurts me. If you trust me, it hurts me. So I thought I will expose expose them to a certain method of learning, if they follow this method, there's no stopping. So I thought I'll pick a topic. What topic? I thought maybe European recession, but that's a little too remote. Our economy is doing well. I thought automation. Automation is exciting. Automation at the same time is dampening also. So that's again ruled out. Then I zeroed on Haryana reservation policy for the private sector that got struck down by the High Court, a fortnight back. So I will lay out a framework to understand that. I will talk of the reasons why the policy is made. I will talk of the constitutional basis for objection and the way forward. Because at your age, or even at a much higher level, understanding the intricacies is a challenge. And what you can understand in 15-20 minutes from me is equal to God knows how many productive hours of yours spent alone. And among yourselves also, you're all children. I don't think you could crack it on your own. So I thought I will simplify the entire issue to you so that this is the way to go about. Whatever else you are studying for your upcoming whatever exam, this is the way to go. Now, what is this reservation? We know about reservation, the quota, a certain quantum of seats is kept aside, be it in education, be it in employment, be it in the legislature. That includes the panchayat, nagarpalikas also. It's for social justice. Social justice is, social means what? Groups. It's not individual. Groups can be language, religion, caste, economic, ethnicity. That is social, and of course gender. So all social groups enjoying the benefits of progress equitably. You people know the word equity because you are from Commerce College. But the equity that you know is stock market equity. Equity, whatever. The equity that we talk of in political science, political economy, that equity is also similar. Distribution of benefits. Reliance sells shares to a lot of people rather than owning the entire RIL by itself. It shares the wealth of Reliance with millions of shareholders. That's also equity. So equity is distribution of benefits. Now, so you have to distribute the benefits of social progress. Equality of opportunity. Let them go to school, college, university. You're sitting in Delhi University, one of the finest intellectual places in the country. Maybe in the entire South Asia. Partly because the government facilitated it for you. If all the colleges were like Ashoka University colleges, how many people will be able to emerge as leaders even while having full potential? So, this is equality of opportunity, etc. What Haryana government thought was, COVID has devastated the economy, shutdowns and lockdowns. Lots of people have come back to Haryana. There's no job for them, they're all disgruntled, they expect the government to help them. And so we can only help them to a limited degree. Let the private sector be compelled to employ them, etc. That's how they figured it out, and they thought they will make it compulsory for the private sector to employ 75% of the employees that they have up to a salary of 20,000 in each firm should be locals. But the investment people did not like it, enterprises did not like it. They thought, let's have the best, etc. etc. They went to the High Court. To challenge a policy, you can go to the High Court. You can't go to the Supreme Court unless you can show immediate nexus with your fundamental rights. There is, but there is not either. The Supreme Court will tell you go to the High Court and come to around that. So they went to the High Court and High Court struck it down, initially in 1 month. Then the Supreme Court told the High Court, take your time, don't deny them natural justice, give them adequate time to defend themselves. Then the High Court took 1 year after that, or 1 year or a few months more or less. And last fortnight, I hope you're following me? Yeah. The Punjab Haryana High Court struck it down. with very strong language. So what's the basis for striking it down? Follow me very carefully because up to a point it's clear. After that, I need to shed some light on that. Equality. I am from Haryana, you are not. But ask the common market. And everyone is equal. We have only single citizenship. And so Article 14, equality, requires that you treat all people alike when you are employed. Point number one. But then there can be an introduction of an element of so-called inequality or differentiated equality if you can show reasonable justification. The classification has to be reasonable. Men, women, rich, poor, caste, this, that, ethnicity, this, that. That is a reasonable classification. You know the citizenship from Pakistan, Afghanistan, Bangladesh, XYZ, all that. Courts may say that's reasonable classification. So based on that, but this is not reasonable. When a person from Haryana goes to Karnataka, finds a job there, you know, reciprocally, a person from Karnataka or elsewhere should be able to go to Haryana, find a job there. So this is not reasonable classification. Article 16 is about public employment, government employment. And this is not government employment. In the entire Indian constitution, there is no mention of how to provide reservation in the private sector. And Supreme Court hasn't spoken. This is the first time High Court has spoken categorically. So 16 is about public employment. This is private employment. It doesn't come into the picture. Except that in the 16, Parliament is given. If Haryana wants to give some jobs for the people who are from Haryana, domiciled in Haryana, that Sons of Soil policy again has to be initiated by the Parliament, sustained by the Parliament, terminated by the Parliament. And that's for public employment. So Sons of Soil policy has to come from only the Parliament. And so Article 35 says that. And High Court said states don't have the power. Sons of Soil policy, only the Supreme Court can do it. So based on that also they struck it. Article 19D, you can move throughout the country. Article 19(1)(e), reside, settle in any part of the country. Article 19(1)(g), practice of a profession, trade, business, etc. You're free. So if you are compelling an enterprise to employ people from that area, then you are restricting their freedom. Article 19, freedom to do business, etc. So Article 9, 19(1)(d), E, G, the policy doesn't find any legitimacy. 21, I have the liberty to go to Haryana, find a job. So 14, 19 and 21 you are gone. 35 you are gone. And so, you know, this policy, constitutional morality. Ours is a common market and the morality is we need to integrate the country, not fragment the country. And if you reserve so many further people from Haryana, then you are breaking up the country's market, etc. This is the basis for the Haryana High Court to strike down the Haryana policy of compelling the private enterprises to reserve 75% of the jobs up to a monthly salary of 30,000 rupees each. This is the verdict of the Punjab Haryana High Court. So I thought I will give you the legal constitutional picture very clearly based on this. Haryana government can say, under Article 246, division of powers between centre and states, there is a concurrent list which is a common list. In that, entry number 23 is employment, unemployment, social security. Under that we have done. You know, that only gives you the power, it doesn't give you the power to restrict the fundamental rights. The fundamental rights are once again a barrier to you. And and private sector reservation is a moot point and no court has settled the issue yet. This is the framework I wanted to share with you. I could pause here for a while. If you have any questions, I can take it. After that, some of our friends have suggested that I take maybe a few questions about whatever you like, anything you like. Current affairs, anything you like. Economics. This is a history, political science society. So that makes me glad because, you know, on the constitution you must be having some doubts about how to go about this, that. Otherwise, I coach for the UPSC, as one of our friends has introduced me, as a coach UPSC. I can help you there also. So it's all yours now. You could ask me whatever you want. I hope you understood what I told you. I rushed because you see, time is short. Otherwise, this topic takes an hour and a half or 2 hours. I think I squeezed it into 20 minutes or less. But I didn't leave out any point. Take your time. Take your time. You ask me. Yeah, I'm here for you.
So if there are any questions regarding GSC preparation, if there are any questions regarding the topic or economy, Indian economy, anything, you can ask the questions. You will be expert on the subject and you don't have to shy away, right? You can ask questions.
One more thing is, I don't need the mic. So one more thing is, whenever I see students from Delhi University, I feel quite thrilled because I have a low-hanging fruit for conversion of the candidate into a civil servant. But when I see them not making it, I find it inexplicable. You know why? You come to the Delhi University, you must have studied very hard at your plus 2 level and your 10th class. UPSC is an extension of the same. It's just that emotionally you have to be strong. And there is a lot of mythology going on about this preparation. People deify their teachers, this teacher, that institute, this book, that book. With so much of deadweight of mythology on your heads, how can you be at your best? You can't be. You know who is the best? Whoever thinks he is the best in this. The day you say somebody else is the best, you are already on the path to losing. Don't deify anybody. Don't think the institute will deliver you. Somebody yesterday asked me, can an institute guarantee? How can anyone guarantee your success? No one can guarantee your success. And number one thing you should set aside for your success would be blind faith in anything. Blind faith was okay 40, 50 years back. Today, you are in the open AI, Sam Altman generation. So, he doesn't give the same answer twice in 5 minutes. So that is the generation you are waiting for. Which is to say that have faith in yourself, number one. Fundamentally where you find the problem is in the reading material. That reading material earlier it used to be NCERT, now NCERT is fading out. Because NCERT it's not getting updated and so on. So reading material is very, very vital. You could have a look at our material that will help you. Reading material is very important. And people tell me, sir, I'm not able to figure out Hindu. I read the Express, I read the Times of India, I read this, I read that. Hindu newspaper on your own, if you have to read, smart people are 1%. The rest of the people are potentially smart. Smart people will find their way. They'll find their way. And others are equally smart but not manifestly smart. Smartness hasn't come out, but that's a low hanging fruit. So, it will take you 7-8 hours to read the Hindu every day. And I can't guarantee you'll understand that even at the end of those 7-8 hours. So what we have done is, me and our faculty, we crunch the Hindu. That will take you, into fundamentally frequently asked questions. For example, this Gaza thing is going on. Hamas-Israel deal, some of these, one Filipino, 10 Thais, and 13 Israelis, they'll be freed up day one. Israel will free up the Palestinian prisoners, 39. What is this deal? Who is Hamas? America, Israel, what is the nexus there? Why is the West supporting Israel blindly and to the hilt uncritically? Who are the Hamas people? What is Gaza? What's been the history of this problem of the Palestinians? All this, believe me, whether you are a student of commerce or electronics or politics, whatever student you are, it should not take you more than 1 hour today, 45 minutes tomorrow, half an hour the day after. After that, you will have firm foundation about what's going on in the West Asia regarding Israel versus Palestinians. So somebody to simplify number one, some material where you can get the handout very clearly number two. Foundational books, the Hindu link, and the website that takes care of you. Because you are children, you don't know what to study, what not to study. That's the biggest problem. What you should study, you are reading 5 times more, number one. And these days, you know, a lot of people are getting swayed by motivation. You know, there is a new breed called the motivators. You know, why are you so desperate about motivation? A good lesson is a motivation. Good chapter is a motivation. Lovely FAQ on the upcoming COP28 on the greenhouse gas emissions. That's a motivation. What is this separate thing called motivation? If somebody could explain that to me, I'll do anything in return. What is this motivation? In my days, if the teacher taught well about Plato, about Hegel, broke down Hegel for us, if he taught us Karl Marx, false consciousness, that is unlocking us to the skies. But these days people want motivation. I have no idea what it is. The day you are giving so much importance to non-academic motivation, the game is lost. You are not there in the race. The only motivation is stuff that gets clarified and helps you towards the examination. That's all. Am I right or wrong? I would like some confirmation from you because you got credentials. Yeah. If people are jumping in for motivation, rest assured you'll never have your head above waters. That's for sure. Your only motivation is what is the recession, what is stagflation, why does it occur, what is the remedy? Are we anywhere there? Is the West Europe the only part of the planet which is struggling with that? If somebody can tell you this clearly, then he is the greatest motivator. Rest all is, there's another word for that, bullshit. Nonsense, time pass, emotional way of passing your time, giving you the illusion that you are, on the right track. You are not. You are mesmerized. You are drugged. That's opium. That's not motivation. That's opium. The only motivation somebody can teach you about British education policy, trade unions and their genesis in modern India, or Mahatma Gandhi, Nehru, Subhash Chandra Bose. Somebody who teaches you, takes you closer to the excellence. That, in my view, is the motivation. Motivation is what? Motivation is unlocking your energies for the given goal. That is motivation, isn't that? Look up the dictionary. Look up any dictionary. You are working in bureaucracy tomorrow. What is motivation? Your cabinet secretary comes to you and motivates you, which means what? Unlocking your energy for more public service. If you are working for Hindustan Lever, motivation is what? Unlocking your energy so that your goals and the HUL goals converge. And for you, the motivation right now is whatever takes you a step closer to the excellence. Will I make it? Won't I make it? Those questions should vanish. Why? The lesson is good. Past years, previous years question papers I have seen, there were questions on recession. I was confused about recession. Now my head is clear. Any article on recession I can follow. Yeah. then more and more of your energy comes. Am I right or wrong? You please tell me. Because I don't want to impose any perspective which is self-centered on you. See, it's criminal to misguide you. Your youngsters looking for direction from me. I've had experience and there's a lot at stake for you. You're in second year, somewhere, final year, and you are entertaining various options. I should be here to push you closer to your goals, no? If I do anything else which is, pushing myself, then that should be a cognizable crime. Huh? You know what is a cognizable crime? Police officer comes and picks you up without a judicial warrant. Yeah? Local SHO can come and pick me up if I predate on your, future for my self-interest. You understand that? So I am here because I have this view. Believe it or not, I have a clear conviction. Delhi University, GNU, these IIT people, NIT, great. For them, first attempt success is well within reach. Provided they should start in time number 1, given the right material number 2, and the Hindu gist number 2, 3, and anything that happens in the country or outside, crunched and spoon-fed. And classrooms are for, adding to that. In which case they are bound to make it. So please don't miss out on realizing your value. Yeah. You have any questions, you please tell me. And those questions should be smart questions. Yeah, you are as good as your question. Yeah, please.
So first of all, I want to agree with you that if a person is determined and disciplined, he can surpass a person who believes that he needs motivation to work. And my question is that what are some common mistakes a UPSC aspirant might make while preparing for UPSC?
Why do people go around in circles even while having all the potential? That's your question.
My question is, what are the common mistakes a UPSC?
What I'm saying in different words. Yeah. So what are the mistakes common mistakes? There are aspirants and there are aspirants. There are different classes of aspirants. Anyone who is determined to make it, he should be very clear that next 18 months nothing can disturb him. Very important. Very, very. No friends, all that, social media. Yeah, point number 1. Point number 2, I have the potential to make it. That faith is quite a, energy boost. Lot of people appear for this exam thinking first attempt I'll get to know the exam, second attempt maybe I'll advance a little more, third attempt onwards I'll be hopeful. That is also not correct, unless you started very late. Yeah, point number 2. Point number 4 would be material. What to study, how to study. Isn't it? Indian Constitution. Somebody's grandfather might have told you read this book and you still read that book. These are the days of open AI. Knowledge changes every second. Knowledge is so cheap. Understanding is everything. Yes? Information is so cheap. In these days, if you are sticking to some biblical words that your grandfather recommended to you, how serious are you? You please tell me. It's stillborn. Stillborn? Stillborn means wanted. No? Brought dead. So, material number 1, how to study number 2, and because it's a high level examination, it takes time number 3, opportunity cost number 4, what's the future point number 5, yeah, where am I going? Some people don't go for the management and do this. Yeah. So if you are emotionally strong, intellectually determined. It's very doable. It's very doable. But then on a daily basis, not even daily, please. What am I doing this hour? What am I doing till lunch? What am I doing from lunch to dinner? Day is too long. If you plan out on an hourly basis what you are doing, then I am sure you will succeed. But if next year, the year next, formulae, we can generalize. But I have seen people enjoy like there is no tomorrow. They are all sitting in Lavasana. I have seen people who become sannyasis. They are also there in the next room in Lavasana. So how can you generalize? You can't generalize. Each one has his own formula. But whatever I have said is the foundational, advice. After that, again, if you go by these sweeping, generalized ideas, that may not work for you, isn't it? There may be a very bad teacher, but he works for you. Or he made me IAS. There may be a very good teacher, he's had no impact on you. So you check your path afterwards. Yeah. Anything more you want to ask me, you can. Somebody in highest.
So considering that emotional stability is something which can actually play a part in the results outcome, what can some daily habits or activities that we can instill in our life which can bring us emotional stability even in the younger ages, so that it can not influence or impact our road towards success?
General things they say would be the food you have should be right. Your company in our Hindu, India, satsang is there, satsang. Eat good company. Otherwise, if you're hijacked into bad company, there is no end to it. Then you won't look bad in a different way. Satsang is very important. You may think I'm outdated. But good company, when will it be outdated, you tell me? Satsang is very important, number one. A sense of independence is important for mental health, number two. Food is important, number three. Having a clear schedule and consistently following that. And our society is a very stable society. You are so lucky to be here. If you are in a hostel, you are doubly lucky. Day school is also fine. But a place like this, you should have been, so much of punya you must have accumulated to be here. Please count your blessings. Add to that. Yeah, this is mental health. Mental health is not a mystified thing. This is mental health. Doing my work is mental health. I have to speak here. I have to come prepared. You guys are expecting me to be authentic. Read the judgment. And so, once I've done my job, and your body language shows that, I've done my job, my mental health is good. I have a class on recession. Get ready. All the basics. I've delivered good lecture. I'm fine. So mental health is doing what you should do in the best way, not wastefully, not unproductively. So as I said, the day is too long for planning. Planning should be pre-lunch, post-lunch, post-dinner, etc. 4 hours, 3 hours, 2 hours. Time box. That is mental health. Don't, imagine this to be, that to be mental health. Mental health is doing what you should be doing. Second year graduate, what is mental health for you? You have a goal, work to it, that's all. Okay. Anyone else? Yeah, go ahead please. Our friend, his hand I've seen first. Maybe you opted first.
Sir, my question is related to UPSC preparation. Sir, what are the measures we have to take while starting preparation of UPSC along with our graduation?
See, I'll tell you, I was talking to one or two students while waiting for the thing to begin. This is the ideal time. People think ideal time is the time to join a coaching. Keep aside coaching, for God's sake. Yeah? You know why it is ideal time? This is November. Maybe this is November, December. Your exams are around the corner. They could be happening any time. And they'll stretch till March or somewhere. A lot of what you study, you doing political science? Philosophy. Philosophy option is a wonderful option. So while you are doing your philosophy, in the UPSC syllabus, see what UPSC questions have come. Oriental, Occidental, existential, phenomenology. Yeah? And read it like a child. A child is someone who wants to understand. No fashion, no impacting the public, nothing. Understand. Understand. Go to the root of the matter. Yeah? What is phenomenology? Who are the people? What are the basics here? What is the application part of it? How is it relevant for a citizen? So all that coincides with your UPSC, you finish it out. Similarly, ethical philosophy, yeah? Finish it out. It works for your paper for GS. So if you prepare like that from today, because your graduation hardly takes a quarter of the day, what are you doing for the 3 quarters? Do it for the UPSC. And 2 things you must not entertain while getting started for UPSC. Number 1, coaching. Coaching will come later. Remove that from your mind. People think preparation starts with coaching. No! Preparation starts with yourself. Preparation starts with the sense of conviction that you have. Preparation starts with your own strategy. Preparation starts with getting ready on your own for a while. Point number 1. So coaching. Yes? Point number 2, this is very important. Somebody has to teach me something. That is nonsense. You are inflicting limitations upon yourself. In the UPSC syllabus, there is nothing that you can't understand on your own. You are 18 years old, for God's sake, you go to vote. You go to remove a government, install a government. Is it so big that you can't understand inflation, balance of payments? Unless people who have a self-interest have planted the seeds of confusion in your minds and made you dependent on it. Gaslighted. No? The biggest gaslighters are the commercial institutes. Join them, please. I'm not saying don't join. Join after knowing what's your part, what is there. I can read anything on my own. I can understand anything on my own. But the institute helps me to understand a little quicker. Yeah? So institute comes into play much later. Institute will certainly come into play because after all you want to be in a community. You want to be taught superconductivity, large language model. Yeah? You want to be taught quicker. But that comes into play much later. Your preparation does not start with joining an institute. Your preparation starts with building up the funda on your, or looks like there's some time problem, yeah? So please, if you have done my part, yes. Someone else, yeah. Will certainly close it, he is more important than
My question is related to reservation. Why so many people ask for reservation even it is paid for only socially favored class only?
Why do people ask for reservation? Because it has benefits.
No, so why it is increasing? It is going to
Why?
Why it is increasing? Why so many people ask for?
Benefits, na? It's like asking people, why do you
So
want
it is
money?
made for only.
That's okay, but in reality I want none. Everyone wants reservation. You know who doesn't want reservation? The ones who don't have it. So I've done my bit. I wish you all the best. I meant all that I said. And my staff will help you.
Us with your presence here today. Your authenticity was refreshing and inspiring. Now, I'd like to call Kishan Jaiswal to the stage to present Sir with a token of our appreciation. Please give Sir a big round of applause.
God bless you. God bless you. God bless you all.
The bureaucracy is one of the most prestigious positions one can pursue in the country. They form the backbone of the administration, and without their guidance and relentless hard work, our administrative systems would surely collapse. With that in mind, I would like to call a man who needs no introduction. He has had an illustrious career as the Chief Election Commissioner of our country, a pioneer of many electoral reforms like the creation of a voter education division, expenditure monitoring division, and election management. He has served as an example for exceptional leadership and perseverance. He has been featured in the Indian Express list of the 100 most powerful Indians of 2011 and 12. We are extremely honored by his presence here. Please welcome Mr. S.Y. Quraishi. Now I would call Kishan Jaiswal and Dr. Saroj, our TIC, for presenting a memento to our esteemed guests here. Now, let's begin the session with the lighting of the lamp, which will be facilitated by our TIC, Dr. Saroj Joshi, and our Secretary, Garima Rajput. Please. Please give Sir, ma'am, a big round of applause. Now, we will hear a few words from Mr. S.Y. Quraishi, who has come to grace us with his presence.
Good morning, friends. I'm extremely delighted and honored to be invited here. Shri Ram College of Commerce is one college I could never get admission into because I didn't get so many marks as you all did. I was in a little inferior college, St. Stephen College. I did very well actually in economics and commerce. But I had already decided, in fact not me, but my elders in the family had decided that because I was doing pretty well in my school, that this guy is going to the foreign service. I did not know what foreign service was. So when I got distinction in commerce and economics, people said that this guy should go for CA. I didn't know what CA was. So, but then in any case I had made my career choice. Career choice actually has to be made in school very early. Because after doing well in your 11th class, it used to be then. So then I could not have changed to commerce when I had already decided on the career in the IAS, for which in Stephen's College History Honours class was considered the nursery. So I joined St. Stephen's history, which I had not studied before, and started from the beginning. Did poorly in first year and improved in second and improved fast. By the time I finished my MA, I did well enough to become a lecturer in history in a college, in an old 200-year, 300-year-old college called Delhi College, which is now called Zakir Hussain Delhi College. Which is very wrong for the government to rename a college which was historic. If you want to commemorate the memory of a leader, build another college. But shortcut, we rename. No, this is very unfair. So in fact people have been protesting, which is why Zakir Hussain College was renamed 10 years ago as Zakir Hussain Delhi College, because that was its original name. So they were, since they were all working people in the evening college, average age of a student must have been 30-35, and I was only 22. Looking like the youngest boy in this room, looking like that. So to be taken seriously, I started wearing dummy glasses. So that I look a little more senior. And those dummy glasses became a part of my personality. Till 1984, I was wearing dummy glasses. These are genuine, by the way. So, but at that time, I was getting more salary in there as a lecturer than we got in the IAS. You know what was the salary in the IAS? 400 rupees. 400 rupees in 1971. And of the lecturer, 500 rupees. So, but that was a lot of money then. So, but IAS being IAS, obviously there was no choice. In fact, Vinod Rai, you heard of Vinod Rai? The CAG. He was teaching along with me, and another man, Mr. Vishwanathan from UP Gada. Later on, UP Gada, all three were teaching English, economics, and me history. We all appeared together, and I'm very proud to say I tell it on the face of Vinod Rai, look, you did not make it, I made it in the first attempt. So now, in any case, making it the first attempt is an important thing, because those days we had only 3 years, from 21 to 24. You make it or you don't make it. Now you can go up to 33, 35, I don't know how many years, 7 attempts, 8 attempts, 9 attempts, unlimited attempts for various categories. So the civil service is chasing you. Then we used to chase civil service. So, yeah, and finally those who make it, 1 million people buy the application form. And ultimately a few lakhs do appear, and then only for 100 seats, 150 seats. So that actually is the cream of Indian society. And you would hear lots of people criticizing the IAS, IPS, and civil services, Babu, the bureaucracy, they failed the country. जब कभी आप ऐसा सुने, whenever you hear this criticism against the civil service, उनसे एक सवाल पूछ लिया करना, Did you appear for the IAS and failed? 99% chances are the critics of the IAS and the bureaucracy and the civil service are those who appeared and failed. So they have no moral right to fix that. Right? So that is, by the way, that is the pride of my service. And some of you must be aspiring to appear for the. How many of you are civil service aspirants? Most of you, which is very good, because if you don't make it, who will? You are in the best college where the cutoff is 97-98%. So you are the best material for it. And this young man, Aditya, he knows much more than I know even today. Because he is so well read, he reads every article, every newspaper, everything. So that is what is required. Those of you who are aspiring to appear for the exam, I give you one advice for which I will send her the bill because there is no free lunch, and nobody takes free advice seriously. Start a diary from today, digital and from today pick up 3 items in the newspapers. And one item, one page, start writing notes. So you will understand. But if even a newspaper, use this newspaper after 15-20 minutes of reading, you throw it away to just pack pakoras in. So that is full of information. So, and particularly if you read Indian Express, and I strongly recommend Indian Express. Indian Express has 2-3 pages specifically dedicated to civil service. Because there is a page called Explain. Everything which is in the news, its background is explained. There is an ideas page, there is an editorial page. So you will find, my advice is only 3 items a day, because you are young, you have a long way to go for the exam. But those who are actually appearing for the, who have been selected and for the interview, my advice to them is to read at least notes, make notes of on 5 points, 5 pages. But you can start with 3, and your knowledge you will notice in 1 month, 2 months will shoot up. Because there is so much of information, so to be up to date with what is happening is extremely important. And whatever competition you appear for, your general knowledge will always be assessed. Even if you are appearing for a lectureship in Sri Ram College of Commerce, it is your knowledge will be tested and how you articulate it. So the general knowledge will stand you in good stead for whatever may be your career choice. That's one. Now coming to the topic of the day, I am so glad that young people have so much of interest. And unlike many colleges where they are only engaged in dirty politics, one advantage of a very high cutoff is that all the boys and girls are serious. There is no riffraff here. It cannot be, riffraff cannot reach in this room. So, which is why you are serious minded, you are serious about your life, your career, and you are doing justice to your parents' investment in you. So that's a very good thing. Now, democracy election. Democracy is India's abiding identity. In fact, when I talk to the foreign service people, they confirm that wherever on earth you go, if they have heard of India, the first thing they will say, oh, democracy. Biggest democracy. So the biggest democracy in the world, that is the first thing which comes to anybody. They may not know a second word about India. But one thing which they know about India, that India is a democracy. And the second, that India is the biggest democracy. So that's our identity, we take this now. Then I had written a book, and some of you who are fond of reading, in any case, maybe you should order a couple of copies each for the library. An undocumented wonder, the making of the great Indian election. In that book, which I wrote in 2014, I wrote how Election Commission of India was born, how I've compared it with the election commissions of neighboring countries and various other countries, how it has evolved, how we conduct elections. This is not only the biggest election in world history, Every election of India is the biggest in world history because it only keeps getting bigger. The second biggest, you know how big is the second biggest? Which country? Anyone? Please do respond. USA. 1/4 of India. You know, we are biggest by miles. I have heard many times, and I used to say India is one of the biggest democracies. So one of the biggest is the biggest understatement. One of the biggest will imply that you are 100, another is 99, the other is 98. Where you are 100, the other is 25. So you are the biggest by miles. So that's something which we should understand and be proud of. It is. Then, you know, I was watching a film made by External Affairs Ministry for the missions abroad on India's election. And the narrator was describing, you know, India's election is very big. Imagine Italy, France, England and Germany, 4 going to the polls together. I was very impressed, as everybody would be. But then I got curious. I was already in the election commission, mind you. 2 years in the election commission, I did not understand the magnitude. So then I got curious and I said, let me see these 4 countries mean how many voters. Then I found that India had more voters than all 50 countries of Europe put together. All 54 countries of Africa put together. 43 countries in North and South America. I did not even know that there are 43 countries in North and South America. So all of them put together, India was more. Entire Commonwealth. How many countries in the Commonwealth? 52 or 53. So all of them put together, India was, they were all 50-60%. Put together, they were 50-60%. India is 90 countries rolled into one. Now, while the complexity, these numbers are mind-boggling. So, almost 1 billion voters in the next coming election next year. So, while we have these numbers of 90 countries, the complexities of 90 countries all enrolled into one. It's something or the other, because obviously in 90 countries there will be some issues, some tension, some conflict, tribal warfare, caste, communalism, regional, ethnic, all kinds of problems. We have them all because we are 90 countries into one, and we handle those elections smoothly, peacefully, flawlessly every time. So, while we have these numbers, we are concerned about every single voter because every vote counts. I'll give you an example. You know, a good election in the university campus or Connaught Place is as important as a good election on remote islands. There is a polling station which is 1200 meters, 1200 kilometers from India's mainland, from Chennai, and only 180 kilometers from Indonesia. Andaman Nicobar Islands, Nicobar is the farthest. 1200 kilometers from India's coast. There also we are obliged to give as good an election as in Delhi University. Because they are Indians, the voters, and it is our duty. So with the result that we have, we give full attention to every voter wherever he or she is. There used to be a voter in a single voter booth in Gir Forest of Gujarat, even Aditya. Single voter polling booth in Gir Forest of Gujarat. You know Gir Forest, what is it famous for? Lion, Asiatic lion. Now nobody can go there, it's not a safe place. There was a priest who used to live there in a broken temple. He refused to go out, but he's an Indian citizen, he's a voter, we have to provide for him. We could have said, a voter, no, we cannot do that. So a polling party of 6 actually, 5 is inside the booth, 6 was our driver. A polling party of 6 would go a previous day and set up a booth for him in a broken down forest guest house. कभी पुराना था, पड़ा था बिल्डिंग, वहाँ पे dilapidated, so that he can come and vote. He may come at 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, lunchtime, post lunch, whatever time. It's his choice, we cannot force it. Even after he had voted, we cannot pack up and go. Do you know why? Because there is a law that if there is somebody comes later at 4:30, and look, the guy who came in the morning was a bogus voter, I am the real voter. So there is a dispute there. So we have to wait for that dispute and solve that dispute. So we keep the polling booth open till 5 p.m. till the rest of the country. When every booth closes, then we will close. Now, 4 years ago, 2 years ago, Prime Minister in his Mann Ki Baat was talking about this guy. And at that time, obviously, because he had recorded it the previous day, previous evening, he did not know that this guy died that morning. So 2 years ago, this fellow died that morning. So one polling booth less is what we have. We used to talk about him very proudly. And particularly to international audiences, this was extremely fascinating. Now, our focus on even one voter, it is not for a dramatic effect. It actually means a lot of, it makes a lot of difference to democracy. And we have an example which I have quoted, which I have mentioned in my book, The Undocumented Wonder, which I mentioned, which came out 9 years ago. Well, how many of you are from Rajasthan? One. You must have heard of C.P. Joshi. In any case, Aditya would have heard of C.P. Joshi. In any case, wherever C.P. Joshi was a candidate, he was the president of Congress in Rajasthan. He was a candidate. If he had won, he would have become the chief minister. He was a CM candidate. He lost by one vote. And when he was losing, at the time of counting, he rang up the returning officer requesting him to recount the postal ballots. Because we use machines as EVM, and machine, there is no question of recount because every time you press the button, it will give you the same figure. So, but paper ballot, there are 500, so maybe when you recount, it may make a difference of 1 or 2. So he requested, "Hey sir, can you please recount the postal ballot?" There were 500 plus. And the RO, the returning officer obliged. He said, "Sure sir, I'll do that." 15-20 minutes taken, same result. Mr. Joshi called again. He said, "Can you retabulate the totals? When we take out the totals from every machine, we do the totaling by hand for some reason. We do not leave it to the machine. So, in manual calculation, there may be a mistake." He said, "Can you redo the tabulation for me?" RO obliged, which is again another thing which I would like to underline, that we have given instruction to our staff, unlike your admin who is supposed to say no, because what I am referring to, I had asked him to please make sure that the book is available for you to buy so that you can get it signed. I don't know who he went to, admin, he is not disclosing the name. Admin says no, you cannot do that. So, which is the most stupid thing there to say. The loss is yours. 20 books sold today would not make any difference to my life. I am 76, another few years to live. But you would have bought that book, you would have got it signed, you would have probably taken a picture. That's why Quraishi is a nobody, he is a small man. But Chief Election Commissioner of India, the greatest democracy on the planet, is something. So your admin said no. And I want to see the face before I go. I want a selfie taken with him. Please identify for me. Otherwise, I will presume that you did not speak to anybody. It is your own creation. I am a suspicious man. That is how our entire administrative thinking is made. If some cheating can be done, it will be done. And how to stop it, that is our Murphy's law that we always follow. So I was telling you about this one person. He is second time when the tabulation was done, same result. He called again to thank. Thank you very much. Whatever I asked for, you obliged me. I'm grateful. Now, interestingly, what happened was that his wife had not voted. Mr. Joshi's wife. So when I heard about it, I called up Mr. Joshi. I said, Joshi ji, this is what I heard, is that correct? So he said, yes, it is correct. Actually, what happened was on that day, my wife and my daughter went away to a temple a little far away and they could not come back again. Now, I've given this in my book on undocumented murder, it's entirely anecdotal. It's a very serious book because it has all the information of on election, how to conduct election, how to manage. It's a handbook of election. It is actually a textbook in election commissions of about more than 100 countries of the world. But it is all anecdotal. I give one anecdote out of which I am going to tell you. So, for us, there are 3 lessons from Mr. C.P. Joshi's story. That every vote matters. Secondly, you can't take even your family for granted. Third, on the day of the poll, the most important temple is the polling station. That's something which the politicians should realize and have realized. Because going into the temple was no excuse, Yoriji lost our vote. His career changed. He could not become chief minister. Later on, he contested Lok Sabha. He became a minister in the center. That's a different story. His lifeline changed because of one vote. Now, remember, that one vote may be your vote. So, never ever skip giving vote. Please always make it a point to go and vote because it may be your vote will decide. Twice in history, there has even been a tie. What do you think would be happening when there is a tie? Well, lots of times people have won by one vote. But if there is a tie, what should we do? Any suggestion? Draw plots. That's what we do. We do while draw plots, we decide because we can't have another election. That's unnecessary. So the fact that the result can be so close, so therefore it is important that everybody goes to vote and make sure that there is a result. I try to explain that not only India's election is the biggest election in the world, it is the biggest management event of any kind in the world. Any management event. World Cup हो रहा था, बहुत बड़ा event कितना बड़ा? 15 countries participating, 2,000 people, 5,000 people, 10,000 people. Do you know how many people conduct the election for us? One guess. 10 lakhs, 5 lakhs. 1 crore 20 lakhs is our staff, all government servants whom you contemptuously call babus. Now they conduct the election every time and zero error election every time because the zero error is what we have laid down for them. Slightest error and we'll hang you by the nearest tree. Why? Because some error you make and some people are denied the voting right, that's not acceptable. Voting right is a very important right. Therefore, your mistake, with no tolerance, you jolly well do a good job. So, for which we require training. I try to organize training in a more systematic manner because if zero error is our option, so training becomes extremely important. So I set up an institute called India International Institute of Democracy and Election Management, IIDEM. If you Google, you will get to know about this. When I was setting it up, like every new idea, they all go to admin section and the admin section says no. When we were setting up our this institute, we sent it to our admin, which is Law Ministry, and they said no. So, and right up to the minister, Mr. Veerappa Moili was the minister, and he was very supportive. And after that, the government changed the minister, and Mr. Salman Khushi became. It was his secretary who had an ambition to become election commissioner. He was actually the guiding him, misguiding him. एंड इसे साहब ये कुरैशी बनाना चाह रहा है इंस्टीट्यूट, ये तो अपने बच्चों के लिए, अपने पोते के लिए बना रहा होगा, इसको अपोज करो। So they opposed to Islam. So when you come across this kind of resistance, they never give up. If somebody gives you the stupid reply, confront him. So we confronted and we went directly to the parliament and they gave us 53 crores for this. So Virappa Murali had already given his in principle support to us. I went to DD Institute in Delhi for training in Milan. Actually, by then, already the Haryana Chief Minister had given me 2 acres of land in Gurgaon. That is when our Chief Electoral Officer of Delhi, Reena Ray, who retired as Secretary Education, Government of India, she came to me. She said, "Sir, आप गुड़गांव क्यों जा रहे हैं? दिल्ली में बनाइए, इतना बड़ा इंस्टीट्यूट आप बनाने जा रहे हैं, दिल्ली में कीजिए." My apologies to the lady from Tamil Nadu who doesn't understand Hindi, except thoda. इधर गई हो, because so that I can talk in Hindi a little more. Is there anybody who doesn't understand any Hindi at all? No. So I can also use Hindi. क्या कह रहा था मुझे याद चला दे कि मैं भूल जाता हूँ. रीना रे ने कहा कि सर आप ये आप मदद को जा रहे हैं, मैं अब आपको बताती हूँ. मैंने कहा कि जहाँ तक मैं जानता हूँ दिल्ली में पॉलिसी कि नया इंस्टीट्यूट 25-30 साल से कि there is no new institute which should be set up in Delhi, go outside Delhi, and secondly there is hardly any land available with DD. इसे बिल्कुल झूठ है कि एक तो इंस्टीट्यूट बहुत सारे आ चुके हैं 25 साल में. मैं DD में रह चुकी हूँ, मुझे उनके सारे सीक्रेट पता है, मुझे मालूम है कहाँ का लैंड उनके पास छुपाया रखा है, मैं आपको लैंड ला के दूँगी. मैंने कहा दिया. तो वो within 3 days she came with a very good piece of land in द्वारका sector 13. द्वारका में हो जाता है, द्वारका sector 13 opposite Radisson Hotel, prime property 10 acres. यहाँ मैं 2 एकड़ गुड़गांव में एक्साइटेड था, she brought 10 acres to me. मैं तो उसके लिए मेंटली भी तैयार नहीं था, मेरे को उसका पैसा भी नहीं था, तो मैंने कहा 5 एकड़ ही दे दो. 5 एकड़ DDA से अगर आपने डील किया है कि आपका अपना प्लॉट जो आपको अलॉट हुआ है 20-20 साल तक नहीं मिलता. मुझको 5 एकड़ जमीन allotted, possession given, all in 20 days. सब 5.5 करोड़ पैसा मैं ले आया था, मैंने उनको दिया. So and we set up this institute. The top election management officials of 108 countries have got training from us. We are trying to be Vish Guru abhi, but in election we are already established Vish Guru. 108 countries हमसे training लेके जा चुके हैं, तो हम तो गुरु हैं. तो this is the respect which Election Commission of India, India's election system enjoys. Hillary Clinton described India's election as a gold standard. Now, she would not be flattering us by some lies. She is a very powerful person, and she called it in a live telecast that India's election is gold standard. Now we have to live up to it. There are some lapses happening, which is unfortunate, but in any case, by and large, our election is still foolproof, and I used to say that we are almost on autopilot. The system has been established by the successive chief election commissioner that this machinery of 12 million people who conduct the election, government servants, they do their job. Only where we are falling short now is enforcement of the model code of conduct. Some important people violate, and the election commission doesn't take action on that. And people are not blind. People watch everything, and it does spoil the reputation. And there are some articles in this on that also. I'm most reluctant to talk on election commission, the negative thing. I'm a self-appointed ambassador of election commission because when I want to praise the election commission. But if you ask me to comment and criticize it, I'm extremely reluctant because it is awkward. But the fact is that there is some crisis of credibility of their own making. And in fact, one CEC asked me, sir, what will be your advice? I said, simple, one word, communicate. If people are critical of anything that you do, so don't keep quiet. Keeping quiet is never your option. You are a transparent organization. Communicate. Tell them why you are doing something or why you are not doing something. So this is the least you can do. So of course I have no business to advise anybody unless somebody seeks it, because they are all very bright people. They all come from the same stock. I was Secretary to Committee of India. One more year to retire and had to resign. By the way, we have to resign from the government and cut the umbilical cord from the IAS because it is an independent constitutional body. You have to distance yourself from the government, even as they say, arm's length distance from the government, from the executive. So you resign. And the constitution itself says that once appointed, election commissioner cannot be removed except like a judge of the Supreme Court. That is through a process of impeachment. Equation clearly that you are equivalent to a Supreme Court. Right? And why this independence given? So that once you are on that post, forget the government. They appointed me. But I charge sheeted the law minister of the same party in the same government who had issued my appointment letter. Because the law ministry is the nodal ministry. Because when you sit on that chair, that is the requirement of the job. You forget all your previous loyalty and focus on your loyalty to the nation, to the constitution. That is what is expected, and most election commissioners and CECs have followed that dharma, and which is why Indian Election Commission is considered a very glorious institution. There are various dimensions, something, and one can go on and on. I think I would rather leave it to Q&A because you will all have some questions, because some of the things which I would have said, I would rather say in response to some questions which you may have in your mind. I'll just finish on this. What is this book? This book is a collection of my published articles over the last 10 years. Majority of them in Indian Express because that's my favorite paper. Because there is no point in writing in Hindustan Times because Hindustan Times has a different clientele where tender notices are more important. And the proof is when I write an article in Indian Express, I receive comments from 15-20 friends. And when I write in Hindustan Times, not a single, although their circulation is 100 times more, no comment comes from anybody. Because the buyers are traders, and traders have no interest in election. Maybe they have, because ultimately what government will come will affect their business, but no others. So Hindu and others, so mostly published articles, some unpublished articles, but there are two other sections which are added here. The one is all the 6 articles of the Constitution which are constantly referred to in the context of election. Then select articles from Representation of People Act, under which we all operate. And thirdly, 20 landmark judgments of the Supreme Court, which are often quoted and cited, so that you don't have to refer to the Constitution or the law, it's all here. And third section is important facts and figures for the last 70 years, which I borrowed from a friend of mine, an R.K. Tukral, who, if you Google, Election Atlas of India. You can't buy that atlas because it is about 10-20,000 rupees, and it is you can't lift it because it is 15-20 kilos in weight. So, but from there, some tables I picked up and requested my friend Tukral to give it to me, which he gave. So that is the data. It's therefore a book for young people like you, particularly civil service aspirants, for the media, for political scientists, for politicians. It's a real handbook and a research book, and this is the handbook for me also. I'm just writing an article for the Telegraph for the 3rd of December morning on EVM, on which I have already written 10 articles which are all here. So I don't have to reinvent the wheel. All I will do, I'll read my own articles for them for which I had done my research then. So the data is available here, the facts, laws, everything is available here. So this is therefore a very good, and by the way, I have dedicated this book. I'll read out the dedication to you. You will be happy. To the many millions of students and civil service aspirants, I fondly dedicated this book so that they may strive to make India the greatest democracy in the world. We are the largest democracy, but we need to be the greatest democracy. Over to you.
We're opening the floor to questions now. So if you have any questions for sir, please go ahead.
I'll take only one question at a time because I'm an old man. My age is 76. I forget, so direct answer. Okay.
First of all, very thank you to you, sir. Because of you people only, we are able to make this country's make this country's democracy from more than last 73 plus years. So मैंने आपके बहुत सारे आर्टिकल्स पढ़ी हैं, बट मेरे उसमें से दो आर्टिकल्स बहुत ज़्यादा फेवरेट हैं. I quote that articles. The first one is on the Rahul Gandhi case. We need to review defamation, raise the bar of disqualification, and the second one is whether in Maharashtra or Jharkhand governors are unelected, they must stay away from politics. I have read both two articles, but I want to get some personal insights from you on these two topics.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Now, first, Rahul Gandhi. Now, you will notice one thing I'm very proud of, that I'm considered very neutral. I am very critical in my comments. I do not spare anybody, and anybody means anybody. I'm not partisan. Congress had appointed me, but Congress, I have charge sheeted 4 of their ministers. Right. In that context, Rahul Gandhi, I wrote very clearly immediately when the result came disqualifying him, which was very silly to me, but the response of Congress was equally silly. The response was not going to the street, which is what I wrote. Instead of going to the street, the response was going to the courts, because solution would come from the courts, which is exactly what happened. But I wrote it on the day one. Look, what the hell are you doing? You're going to the street, protesting demonstration. It will take you nowhere. It was silly response. So, but why should they, the oldest, grand old party, the oldest party, why should they resort to these foolish tactics? So wrong. The solution was in the court, and we knew what will be the conduct of series of courts and where the solution will ultimately be found, which is exactly what happened. Right, so therefore spare nobody. Second case was?
Second case, whether governors of Maharashtra and Jharkhand.
Now, the governors, I have written several articles on governors, and whenever something is happening, now I am getting provoked when this court case is going on, to write another piece on that. Now, governors have been playing a very mischievous role over the years. Once I wrote an article after there was something happening in Karnataka. So I wrote an article, Natak in Karnataka. So I got a phone call from somebody I will not name because you are recording and you are going to put it on the website. Some governor, because why actually when you are recording and you are going to broadcast, you put a restriction on the speaker. Ideally, after record so that one can speak with names, because that creates credibility. Now, I got a phone call at 8 in the morning, that is the time I wake up, from a governor in the northeast. I read your article, मैंने तो ऐसा नहीं किया. मैंने कहा ये चोर की दाढ़ी में तिनका मैंने क्यों नहीं आपका किया था. मैंने तो आपका कोई नाम नहीं लिया था, मैंने तो कुछ ये फैक्ट है, ये गवर्नर को ये जो अगर करते हैं तो गलत करते हैं, and that is why off and on we hear demand from the public that the post of governor is redundant, it should be abolished. So सरकारी justice सरकारी commission had very clearly laid down कि election के बाद अगर results are not clear, this should be the procedure. First, the largest party, and this is the 4 stages which have been. Now, same recommendation was repeated by Justice Punchi in 2007. So, already 2 commissions have gone into it, and why the government and successive government? 2007 was Congress government. Why is it that the successive government have not adopted it? And then I wrote one article when in Chhattisgarh, was it Jharkhand or Chhattisgarh? I think it was Jharkhand. Jharkhand. When the case came about disqualification of some MLAs to the election commission, and election commission gave its opinion. Now, opinion in the constitution, disqualification, there is a procedure. If you suspect the qualification of an MLA, he has taken some office of profit or whatever, something which makes him unfair, you are supposed to write to the governor in the case of MLA, the Rashtrapati in the case of MP. And Rashtrapati and governor, according to constitution, are obliged to write to election commission to seek their opinion. And that opinion is given by the election commission as a court judgment. We have a court in the election commission, by the way, like the Supreme Court, the complete courtroom, and where the best lawyers of the country, name any lawyer who has not appeared before us, including Arun Jaitley, who was the product of this, Abhishek Singhvi, Kapil Sibal, you name it. Even the fireman was called Jethmalani. They've all appeared in the. So, and we have felt very embarrassed when they all addressed us as your lordship. Embarrassing लगता था ये क्या बोल रहे हैं हमको lordship. So actually that should be abolished. What is lordship? And ऊपर से कभी-कभी बोलते हैं लेकिन अगर ये serious proposal है ना, if you don't address the judge as a lordship, केस तुम्हारे खिलाफ हो जाएगा. We need to change this colonial mind. Anyway. So, इसमें ये opinion जो है ये बड़ी कोर्ट में सुन के सबके भेजते हैं, and the president or governor cannot change a comma or full stop. It is a judicial judgment, and a judicial judgment cannot be changed by anybody. तो हमारे गवर्नर साहब वहाँ के जो इत्तेफाक से मेरे मिनिस्टर रह चुके थे इंफॉर्मेशन एंड ब्रॉडकास्टिंग मिनिस्ट्री में, मैं was hesitant मेरे अच्छे रिलेशन थे उनसे. I was very hesitant कि मैं इनके बजाऊं के ना बजाऊं. लेकिन मेरी जॉब की रिक्वायरमेंट थी कि मैं कॉलेज पे तो मैंने उनके वो आप आर्टिकल पढ़िएगा, इस किताब में पढ़िएगा वरना गूगल करके पढ़िएगा. उन्होंने क्या जवाब दिया? 4-5 महीने तक इलेक्शन कमीशन ने अपनी ओपिनियन दी. उस ओपिनियन में क्या लिखा है किसी को पता ही नहीं. तो 4-5 महीने तक उन्होंने कोई एक्शन नहीं लिया. प्रिजम्पशन क्या है कि अगर इलेक्शन कमीशन ने कहा था डिस्क्वालिफाइड, तो he would have immediately disqualified within the next 10 minutes. The fact that for 5 months he did not take action, so obviously the recommendation would have been not disqualified. So he was sitting over it. और क्या जवाब देते हैं वो कि I am taking a second opinion. आप डॉक्टर के पास जाते हैं दांत आँख के लिए कि ये ओपिनियन मिली और नहीं मैं सेकंड ओपिनियन ले लूँ. सेकंड ओपिनियन व्हाट नॉनसेंस ये, कैन यू गो फॉर ए सेकंड जजमेंट? सो सेकंड ओपिनियन का क्या मतलब? मैंने आई ब्लास्टेड हिम कि यू आर इलिटरेट फेलो इफ यू आर आस्किंग इट्स नॉट एनी अदर ओपिनियन. दिस ओपिनियन इज एन ऑर्डर, इज a judicial order which cannot be touched by anybody. So वो साहब जो थे everybody got away with it. So yes, this is the kind of content, and sitting over assembly decision for 2 years and 3 years, what kind of role these governors are playing, and Supreme Court is coming down heavily on them. But unfortunately, the Supreme Court also comes down heavily when the arguments are going on. It doesn't get reflected in the judgment. We are waiting, let us see what the judgment comes. Now, judgment, the Supreme Court also has to take a decisive action. Delhi, the capital of the city, whether the assembly has the power or no power, something it has been going on, Supreme Court has already decided, but it is not being implemented. एक दिन लॉ मिनिस्टर को बुला के एक दिन की जेल करो, सब सीधे हो जाएंगे. You have to act. सिर्फ भाषणबाजी से या even कोर्ट में कमेंट करने से कुछ नहीं होता. Judgment action, which is not happening. So when the institution get diluted, that is when democracy is in danger.
The balance, the calmness, the fearlessness, the decisiveness. These are qualities you just saw them and heard them, and I've been watching and listening. So not only that, Dr. Quraishi writes with deep thought, and more than in service, I think so. Now you are, of course, being a very senior officer and chief election commissioner, that was one thing. But now you are an opinion influencer, if I can say, and a thought leader. A thought leadership is probably the lady, to answer the young lady there, probably even more, or somebody else, important than electoral politics. Because thought leadership can change minds to the right direction. And an MLA or MP may not. And Sir is right, even if he wins the election, the next 5 years may be impossible. Because what can you do? It's a lose-lose situation at times. कितने solutions आप दे देंगे MLA बन के, MP बन के, minister बन के, उसके बाद आप हार जाएंगे because of the anti-incumbency or whatever it is. Sir, I want to ask you a question now. How do you manage to be so multi-dimensional? That is my question. Because as a civil servant, as a chief election commissioner, as a writer, people may be very good officers, but they may not be able to express themselves in writing or orally. And I also happen to know, I want to ask you, sir, do you still have the musical evenings and the guitar? Sir is very fond of music. So he is very multi-dimensional. A round of applause for him. ये मेरा question है.
Before Vivek came, somebody was asking me in the room whether I was writing even during my service career. Not so much. But occasionally, yes, I wrote 2-3 books in my service career. But the model of the real answer to your question is Vivek. He has been writing in service prolifically. So much so that I think you've taken voluntary retirement now.
Voluntary, sir, about 6 years ago now.
Because he became so popular because that was the talent which he was using, and otherwise every moment which he was wasting in the civil service is now he saved it and is now creatively employed. So he is one of the people I admire. In fact, I am very keen to attend one of his motivational talks. उससे मुझे भी कुछ सीखने को मिलेगा. Now, इन्होंने जो ये पूछा कि lots of people have asked me what is the secret of my success in my career. One, that you should not take your job so seriously, yourself so seriously. कि आप हैं तो वो संसार है, आप हट गए तो heavens will fall. It's a very silly thought. I still remember many years ago, I was Director Child Development. I went to Maharashtra, एक Deputy Secretary. He said, "Sir, ये तो इतने sincere हैं, इनकी mother की death हो गई थी, उसमें भी ये दफ्तर छोड़ के नहीं गए." I felt like taking off my boots and hitting him कि ये seriousness है, ये बकवास, family की responsibility अपनी है, ये तुम्हारे बिना heavens will fall. I don't even remember his name, but heaven has not fallen. रिटायर होके कहीं जा चुका होगा, लेकिन ये किस्म की नहीं. तो अपने हर एक तो बैलेंस इन लाइफ, और उस बैलेंस में हमेशा एक दो हॉबीज होनी चाहिए, जो उसमें से वन वाज म्यूजिक व्हिच ही रेफर्ड टू, द अदर वाज राइटिंग. तो इट कीप्स यू ऑक्यूपाइड, क्रिएटिवली ऑक्यूपाइड माइंड, एंड रिटायरमेंट के बाद तो यही काम आती हैं. तो इनफैक्ट माय राइटिंग ब्लूम. After I left my service, his writing bloomed. After he left, because now he is full time. I have found a wrong man. And I'm still a member of the rock band. You might think I'm a serious rock band, you know, and I play and which I had formed in Stevens College. वो आज तक वो चल रहा है. शरण प्रभाकर का आपने नाम सुना होगा? Have you heard of Sharon Prabhakar? Sharon Prabhakar is a very good pop singer in Bombay. She was a singer in our band in Delhi. So हमने ये बनाया. एकेडमी में हम गए जब देखे तो उस वक्त जो लोग तैयारी करते हैं कि वो हॉर्स राइडिंग और ये कपड़े वपड़े ये वो तैयारी. I used to make my own guitar because I could not afford to buy a guitar. तो इलेक्ट्रिक गिटार मैंने 5 बनाए हैं. तो उस दिन 1:30 बजे रात तक मैं I was making my last guitar for the academy. तो वहाँ जाके हमने अपना परफॉर्मेंस दिया. मैं अपना कोई गिटार अपने लिखे था. मधुकर गुप्ता who retired as home secretary, आपने नाम सुना होगा, very powerful home secretary. He was very good percussion. तो उन्होंने ऑफिस टेबल, एस्ट्रे, चाबी ये लेके बड़ी अच्छी उसने ड्रमिंग कर दी. तो डीडी साठे हमारे डायरेक्टर स्टेज पे आके अरे यार बड़ा अच्छा परफॉर्मेंस था, तो मैं यू शुड डू इट रेगुलरली, व्हाट डू यू वांट. हमने कहा हमें पैसे दीजिए ताकि हम कोई ड्रम सेट और एम्पलीफायर वगैरह खरीद लाएं. तो उन्होंने हमको 1500 रुपये दिए कि जाके दिल्ली जाओ. तो मोर इम्पोर्टेंट है एकेडमी की गाड़ी दिल्ली जाने के लिए, है ना. तो हम आए, हमने एक ड्रम सेट, गिटार, एम्पलीफायर एकेडमी में बैंड बनाया जो आज तक जिंदा है. आए एंड शिवशंकर मेनन का आपने नाम सुना है, उनको बुलाना ले इसमें बड़े. He is the lead singer in my group. I play the guitar and keyboard. I still play. So when I want to forget about Bansilal, Devilal, that is the best thing to do. You play your music. It is therapy. It is which is what we need. So that makes you number one vegetarian, and that is very important for your performance in office also. But I am so delighted that. Is my old dear friend, and his father was one of the most celebrated IPS officers. इनके father, तो उनको हम याद करते हैं, लेकिन इन्होंने उनकी लेगेसी को कॉफी मैंने छुई नहीं है, तुम पी लेना बेटा.
I'll have 2 of them with you.
मैंने भी तो ली थी बेटा, ये पहुंचाओ जरा.
Thank you. Should I begin? My voice, mic is good, huh? Last row?
Yes.
Sir की आवाज कम आ रही थी. I thought the mic is not working. So before ma'am comes back, because she's going to see of Dr. Quraishi, I'll just have some preliminary thoughts and then we start. Okay? So preliminary thoughts are actually preliminary questions for you. So how many of you are civil services aspirants? Okay, put your hands down. How many of you are not civil services? Go with you. Back room में बैठे सारे. Front room में. Good. So whether you are a civil services aspirant or not, you are my friend. I will help you to think and decide in your career. How many of you follow the Ranveer show? Raj Shamani, Vivek Atray, कोई उस पे भी आया हुआ है एक बंदा. Raj Shamani show pe, Ranveer show pe. He looks a lot like me, and his name is also the same. So he says that the key to success is calmness. Now, key to success in what? The key to success in civil services or private services or professional services. There are 3 or 4 types of careers, right? Sarkari career, corporate career, self-employed professional, or entrepreneur. दोनों में अलग फर्क है ना? A lawyer, an architect, a doctor who is self-employed is different from somebody who started a company. Is different from a government officer. Is different from somebody working in Nestle or Google or IBM, right? Different हो गया? Yes. There could be an NGO career. My daughter, one of them is in the NGO. She wants to work for NGOs. And civil services also wants to serve the society, but sometimes NGOs are serving society more at the micro. आजकल I'm a motivational speaker. You heard I resigned from the civil services.
Yes.
One of the questions you must ask me later, why did you retire? ये नहीं पूछोगे तो मैं सोचूंगा बड़े unreceptive audience है, पूछना पड़ेगा. Here I am trying to tell you why and how you should join the civil services, and then I will tell you why I resigned. Right? So, ma'am, I was just giving preliminary comments before you came. Thanks for inviting me, and thank you to the entire team for inviting me. They've been very meticulous and very, very well organized, and smiling faces since I came. And the president is president of the society is who has gone outside. Kishan has gone outside, and Soumya, not Soumya, Soumya from Tamil Nadu, and Ishita from Rajasthan, and Manan from Gurgaon. मैं इन सबको कैसे जानता हूँ? Because I went on a campus tour while Dr. Quraishi was speaking before I came inside. And Dr. Quraishi is a wonderful example of what civil services officers should be like. You see, he's from a minority community, but he is strong, fearless, balanced. So if we talk of the qualities, the first quality that comes to mind is clarity. Clarity is the opposite of confusion. Abhi confusion hai?
Yes, sir.
Overthinking?
Yes.
Hai. So that Vivek Atray was on the Ranveer show is me only. The thing is that there is confusion and overthinking which is troubling the youth of India. You want to come into the civil services, but you are not sure whether you will come. It's natural. There are so many people aspiring. Some of the best people are not able to crack the exam, and then they become professors, or they become something else. Only joking, or they become something else. Okay.
Take it on me. I'm inspired.
I'm only joking. So the point is that even I did not crack that exam. Let me tell you very directly and clearly. I am a former IAS officer, but I was selected for the Haryana Civil Service. And then I got promoted to the IAS. So 1/3 of the IAS IPS officers of India are promoted from the state civil service or the state police service. I was one of them. My father was an IPS officer whom Dr. Quraishi was mentioning. He died in service at 50. At the age of 50 he was ill, so he died. I was 24. So they gave me a job in his place. I am an engineer and all, qualifications and all were there. But I didn't even crack that exam. But now I am the mentor of people who are aspiring for civil services. And luckily for many of them, I prepared them for the personality test or interview. And many of them have benefited from that mock interview as we call it. But उसके लिए पहले main exam clear करना पड़ेगा. And that's a tough job. So we don't talk too much about the UPSC exam, that we can talk separately. You can ask me. I have some colleagues. We also have an academy. I believe you have an academy here in SRCC, and I met. Who did I meet? I met one of the teachers of that academy outside, Rajat or Samvaad'23. He's from Chandigarh. Anyway, I met someone. So that part is to be taken care of separately. What are the qualities that you need to develop? What are the qualities? आपके अंदर वो qualities हैं. But is anybody perfect? Anyone here perfect? Raise your hand. आजकल डर लगता है 2023 में कोई बोल भी देगा I'm perfect sir. Please prove me wrong. So confident. But nobody is perfect. Not even automatons are perfect. जब गर्म हो जाते हैं तो खराब हो जाते हैं. Computers. So the point is that we have to improve our qualities to a level which is better than before. What are the qualities? We just talked about clarity of mind. But sometimes there will be confusion. If you come into the civil services, you will also have confusion then. As an officer, as a CEO, you don't know for sure the answer. Rohit Sharma didn't know whether to bat or bowl, because he says we would have batted, but now he'll say we should have bowled. Batting first became a problem. And Cummins also wasn't clear. He guessed that it would be better to field first in that second. So clarity of mind is not going to come totally, but some people are less confused than others. What about calmness versus restlessness? Yogananda, Paramahansa Yogananda, I follow him. Follow means वो Instagram पे नहीं है, died in 1952. Autobiography of a yogi. One of the best books in the world, translated into 50 languages. I follow that. Kriya Yoga Meditation. अभी एक podcast भी आ रहा है उस पे, रणवीर ने भी मेरे से बहुत पूछा है. He said, be calmly active and actively calm. Think about this. Being active doesn't mean you have to be restless. The mind is calm, but I'm dynamic. Both qualities are needed in successful career. Dynamism and calmness. Dynamism का मतलब ये नहीं है कि हम बहुत ज़्यादा aggressive हैं, aggro हैं. We can be dynamically calm and calmly dynamic. है ना थोड़ा सा? What is calmly active is okay. I'm active but I'm calm. But actively calm means I'm working on calmness as a project. I actively work on my calmness so that I become a calmer human being. Can you see me there? You become a calmer human being. You take the right decision when you're calm or disturbed?
Calm.
When you're disturbed, you might say something which you didn't want to say. And you regret it later. किसी ऐसे loved one को, normally with the loved ones we say things which we are not supposed to say. बॉस के साथ, मैम के साथ सब ठीक होते हैं. घर जाके हम झगड़ा करते हैं. सारी दिन की भड़ास. ये तो दिल्ली है ना, हिंदी में बोल सकते हैं. Some Soumya, you understand Hindi? Who else is from South India? Raise your hand. You know Hindi? Little bit. Okay. थोड़ा. The point is, English, Hindi, Tamil, all are our languages. India is the greatest country in the world. No doubt about it. We have systemic problems which Dr. Quraishi mentioned. I don't need to get into them. Our officers are the best in the world. Army, defense. We have amazing people. Clarity of mind, calmness, creativity. Number 3. Qualities you need to have. Are you a creative person or a dull routine kind of person? 9 to 5 job? ठीक है, 9 to 5 job, अच्छी है, no harm. Somebody has to do it. Somebody has to do accounts also, na? This is a college of commerce, na?
Yes.
So accounts में 6.4 है तो 6.4 ही है. We can't make it 6.6. चलो जी आज इसको 6.8 कर देते हैं. You can't do that. You can't be that creative. In a banking job, the level of creativity may be minimal, but you can come up with new ideas, marketing ideas. You can come up with new schemes, new projects, new ways of interacting with people. But in civil services, you really need to be creative. What Dr. Quraishi said, and I also say about having creative pursuits outside your job, is very important. If you play the guitar on a Sunday, you go back to work on Monday feeling charged. Dull, क्या है वो all work and no play make what? Jack a dull boy. All work and no play make Jack a dull boy. हमारे यहाँ बोलते थे खेलोगे तो बनोगे खराब, खेलोगे कूदो क्या होता है? बनोगे नवाब और खेलोगे कूदोगे बनोगे खराब. ये गलत हो गया. दोनों जरूरी. So with that creativity of life, it percolates to your work and career. A creative mindset will make you a successful officer, a successful CEO, a successful professional. What is creativity? It's a quality that we have. What is innovation? Innovation is the result of a creative mindset. Innovation like Zomato or Swiggy or Blinkit. Blinkit 6 minute में लाता है एक जन ब्रेड. करा यूज कर. करो आप तो करते ही हो, you तो live on Blinkit, digital, Instagram, but don't watch too many reels. I went to IIT Madras. I go all over India. ये SRCC है, मैं सब जगह जाता हूँ. They are overthinking and over-reeling. Too many reels. You have to have the mental strength to stop scrolling. This is the willpower of 2023 needed. Stop. उसकी बैटरी जब तक डेड नहीं होती थी तो आज रात तक आपकी बैटरी भी डेड नहीं होती उसकी. If you sleep at 4 a.m. because you've been watching reels for 4 hours, then you're a zombie. Zombie. Corona time में pandemic में बोलते थे zombie because we are all on Zoom. But now we can still be zombies. Okay. So your mind is very important, but your creative thinking will make you a better performer in anything you do. The next quality you have to have is decisiveness. There's a saying, at the end of life you won't regret the things you did wrongly. You'll regret the things you didn't do because you were scared to do that. You were hesitant to do that. वो गलत बातों के लिए नहीं बोल रहा था. Something which is challenging, take it up. And small little challenges can be met first. Increase your confidence by taking up small challenges. Supposing you feel inhibited coming on stage, speaking. All of you these days are very good at presentation. You make your own reels, you speak on camera. You are fantastic. You live on camera, you take pictures by the dozen every day. But you may still be inhibited by or scared of doing certain interview के time. सब लोग nervous होते हैं. Supposing you have a big interview, you will be nervous. If you are over nervous, then your performance will be lower than what you could have done. So we need to calm the mind and become more confident before going in and be decisive in our answers. Decisiveness comes from clarity of mind. एक story हो जाए. Story of it. Although because Dr. Quraishi was there, so I couldn't say beach mein, but we have about till 1 p.m. I feel. So, story is important. Who all heard of Einstein's driver's story? Raise your hands. Both sides. Both sides. Very intelligent boys and girls. Okay. So Pedrevsky and the piano. अब थोड़ा मुश्किल हो गया ना. Einstein driver तो सुना है. Pedrevsky and the piano नहीं सुना ना? सुना किसी ने? Okay, so Pedrevsky and the piano. So your homework is to read about Einstein's driver yourself later. Similar qualities are required for these two stories. You learn the similar qualities. By the way, Polish football team के नाम पता है किसी को? ब्राजील के तो पता है? Lewandowski. हाँ? Lewandowski. Okay, और बताओ, 11 नाम बताओ. All the surnames are good for passwords because they are impossible names to spell. They are very difficult to spell. But आप खुद ही भूल जाओगे अपना password. So Poland has names which are difficult, but this one is easy. Pedrevsky, not that difficult. वो बहुत मुश्किल है कहीं. उसमें भी जोक है, वो जो आई टेस्ट करते हैं ना, WZC, वो उनके नाम है पोलैंड वालों के. तो वो अपना ही मजाक उड़ाते हैं. Wozniacki कौन है? कैरोलाइन वोज़नियाकी कौन है? कौन है? जीके क्वेश्चन प्रीलिम्स में आएगा. कैरोलाइन वोज़नियाकी, former world #1 tennis player. Okay, I don't know which country, European है. I don't know whether she's Polish. So the story is that Pedrevsky was to come on stage to perform in front of 500 people in the audience. Piano concert. Famous man. The same qualities that Pedrevsky exhibited are required by civil services officers. A young girl, a young lady, about 32, 33 years old, walks into the hall with a 6-year-old child. Children below 12 are not allowed. But she smuggles the child because she doesn't want to miss the concert and she can't leave the child at home. She comes and sits somewhere with the child and tells the child to there is a friend sitting 2 rows ahead. Saroj ma'am बैठे हुए. She is her friend अब friend को तो मिलना पड़ता है before the concert starts. So she goes to talk to her. And the child, she says, don't get up from me. But a 6-year-old child is, आप याद है आपको कैसे थे आप जब 6 साल के? ज़्यादा बात नहीं मानते थे मम्मा की या किसी की. So the child gets up and runs. And the mother is talking to the friend, Saroj ma'am. And the child goes and finds a board saying no entry and goes inside. ऐसे ही होते थे हम. And goes onto the stage, finds himself on the stage. Boy, let's presume it was a boy. Boys are more naughty. Goes, finds the piano and starts playing the piano. And the audience starts hearing curtain abhi band hai. Who is playing the piano? Ting, 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 ting. Doesn't know how to play the piano. Bang, bang, ting, ting. And the audience is wondering when the curtain starts opening because it's time for the concert. Mr. Pedrevsky comes onto the stage behind the HPS SRCC के board में से निकल के आते हैं. Projector में से. Mr. Pedrevsky comes. The curtain opens. The mother comes back to her seat and finds that the child is gone. She's scared that they will be thrown out. Now she turns around and sees my child is playing the piano on the stage. Now she thinks she'll be arrested. Now Pedrevsky has 2 options when he sees the child on the chair of the pianist. One option which is normal is to lose the cool. What is this child doing? Call the ushers. Ushers, वैसे usher होता है, usherer नहीं होता by the way. बाद में देख लेना Google पे. You're not ushers, you're the president, no?